Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. Jose Pedraza, he's probably coming to the end of his career. I like Pedraza a lot. He's a two weight belt holder. He held the IBF super feather belt for quite a long time. He made, I think, four or five fights. I know he fought Stephen Smith back in 2015. And then he moved up to lightweight and won the WBO title against Ray Beltran. But I think that the 140 division might be a bridge too far for him, because in his previous fight, he had a draw with Richard Comey. That was at 140, or certainly above the lightweight, above the 135 weight limit. But he just he seems to lack a bit of physical strength. And he took on Arnold Barboza Jr., who's undefeated, 27 wins. Barboza doesn't hit hard. He's a good fighter, Barboza. And beat Alex Saucedo, 10-round unanimous decision. That was back in 2020. And who was it? He beat an undefeated fighter whose name escapes me in his last fight. The guy was 16-0, I can't remember his name. But he won the WBO Intercontinental Super Lightweight belt, which gets you a ranking. It's not obviously not a real world title. It's one of these trinkets that people win, gets him in the top 10. And he just had a bit too much for Jose Pedraza, for the old wily veteran. Pedraza's 33. Actually, Barboza's 31. So it's not like he's a young man. He's probably in his prime. And he did win the fight. I had it 97-93. I think one of the judges had that. The other two had it 96-94, I think. I wouldn't argue with that. The effort that Pedraza put in was fantastic. But for the first few rounds, I mean, there was way too much exaggerated head movement and body movement and swaying from side to side. And he did one of my pet hates in boxing is fighters that bounce up and down. I don't like that. When both your feet are off the ground, or when one of your feet is off the ground, for that split second, you are not positioned to move in any particular direction. You're not positioned to punch. You punch power, punch technique comes from the floorboards up through the core and through your fists. That's what I was taught anyway. And he was just doing too much of this wasted energy stuff, Pedraza. But he was putting mental pressure on Barboza. He was moving forward. Barboza was popping in when he came in. I mean, there was a check hook in the second round that was very good, but Barboza was handling him. But Pedraza clearly had that nervous energy thing going on, and it took him to about the fourth round maybe before he settled down and started to find a little bit of a groove and get closer and be effective. Because this wasn't pressure. This was Barboza. This was Pedraza following Barboza around for a few rounds, and then when he settled down, finally the pressure became a little bit more effective, where he was able to land his own punches. He was firing a lot of punches when he got in close. Barboza was for the most part matching him. But as the fight went on, certainly in the second half of the fight, it was more competitive, far more competitive. And the mental pressure that Pedraza was putting on Barboza seemed to be telling a little bit. There was one occasion when Barboza stung, I think it was the start of the 8th, I want to say. He stung Pedraza. Pedraza wasn't badly wobbled, but he was buzzed a bit. And that comes from Barboza not being a one-punch hitter. Neither of these guys got a particularly big percentage of knockouts, so I suppose it was inevitable it would go the distance. But it looked to me like Pedraza at 140 is going to be no more than just a gatekeeper. Very, very tough fight for anyone. He'll beat some, and he'll lose to the best. And his last 3 fights now, he lost to Jose Ramirez. That was a unanimous 12-round decision. That was back in 2022, around February, March time, I think early in the year anyway. Then he had the Comey draw, and then he's lost a unanimous decision to Barboza. So coming to the end of a very, very fine career is Mr. Pedraza. But Barboza, he wants a world title fight. And at 140, yeah, all right, can he win it? Yeah. They talked about putting him in with Teofimo Lopez. That'd be a good one. That'd be a good fight. I would slightly favour Lopez, but we'll see. But Pedraza's okay. He can win a title. There's belts flying around in there, so he can win a title. But I don't think he'll ever be an elite fighter. And I don't think he's quite got the power or the technique, the ring IQ. He's a good. He might get to a B+ level. But for Pedraza, he can collect paychecks. He can make a splash at a certain level. But I think his days as a world titleist may be over. Unless he goes back down to 135, if he can still make it and has another run at 135, maybe. But what did you think of this fight? I thought it was a decent little scrap. Not an explosive barn burner, but quite intriguing. Picked up in the second half of the fight. What do you think of Barboza? Do you think he can win a world title? What about Pedraza? Good career? Is he coming to the end? Leave your thoughts below and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Hit the subscribe button. It takes a second. And like the video. That helps us out as well. But thanks for your time, as always, for watching these videos. Appreciate it. And we'll chat again soon. Bye for now.